Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Dom on Blue-Black Ninjas versus Dustin playing, it might be Gyruda Bomberman, it may just be Mono Blue at this point, I'm not sure. We'll have to see. The previous builds did run the Auriok Salvagers build, but I haven't seen that from him on camera in the last several matches that he's been on. Very explosive start. 5 cards played out of his hand. Has access to 6 mana. And the nerfing of companions certainly helpful there. Otherwise, Dustin would have been able to just jam a 6/6 on the first turn with potential backup, depending on what it brought back from the graveyard. And I think those ninjas, I think the smaller of the 2 ninjas, maybe Yuriko too, are like 4 mana, so that would be hellacious. Companion, definitely a mistake, but we do have some that seem like they're acceptable for Legacy now. 4 mana for an Urza, and this guy just does so much heavy lifting, getting a big body in this construct, and also setting up some significant card advantage, almost inevitability. And 3 mana to get that Gyruda into hand. Can be cast next turn. Or is it also making cards like Lion's Eye Diamond your choice in between a Black Lotus or a Mox Sapphire, whichever one happens to be better. The discarding your hand can be obviously a big problem, so using it as a Mox Sapphire in the short term, much better. But that extra burst of mana can absolutely close things out when you're getting things like Mycosynth Lattice off of Karn. And Dustin thwarted there as Force of Will stops his Gyruda, so he's only able to attack for 5 damage on the second turn, which is pretty ridiculous. I guess that was the third turn? Yeah, third turn. Very impressive for a control/combo deck to be able to move forward so aggressively. Guess it doesn't have that much aspect of control. The Chalice, depends on how you define it. Prison combo. Blue-black ninjas. And Drown in the Lock. I mean, that'll take out the Urza, but still leave a 4/4. So Dom doing everything he can do to slow Dustin down, but Dustin still has a board presence, still ahead on board, with a lot of potential. Urza's Bauble and Mishra's Bauble both in these decks, allowing you to continue to dig, give you that metal craft. Karn really burst onto the scene in Vintage, where he was adopted easily alongside Mishra's Workshop and so many other powerful artifacts. And there is Karn right on cue. Let's see what he finds. Very often Liquimetal Coating. Eventually they typically will find Mycosynth Lattice and actually just lock your opponent out. That's a disheartening lock, especially the first time someone plays against it. They may have cards like Force of Will or Force of Vigor or Icarid, so many different things that care about colors of cards and zones. Mycosynth Lattice actually makes them all colorless. So even most people immediately understand that they're not going to be able to tap their lands for mana, but there's so many free spells, you feel like you might have some interaction. That is not the case And Mycosynth Lattice, if this sticks, that is going to do it. Hardcast Force and Negation. Bad news. Karn can just go get it again. That is brutal. So Force and Negation exiles it. Just puts it right back where Karn can grab it again. Oh no. Let's see if Dustin recalls that interaction. He sends, draws a Drown in the lock, and now Karn. No, he's actually just going to grab Walking Ballista. Doesn't even need to. The construct had done enough damage that Walking Ballista ends up being lethal. But that's worth noting, is that Karn can grab cards from exile or from the sideboard. So pretty disheartening when your Mycosynth Lattice isn't actually taken out of play, so to speak. Putting it into exile right where Karn can grab it again, meaning that you have to continually ice skate uphill versus the Planeswalker. That's brutal. All right, Dom leading out with a Ponder. That last game was all Dustin. No ninjas were to be found. And it's interesting. It's a blue deck, but without running Force of Will, I think people sometimes play against it incorrectly. It's a combo deck. You're going full speed ahead. And what is this? A Stonecoil Serpent at 1 off of Cavern. Not sure if that was made to be uncounterable or not, or if the uncounterable ability is going to be used elsewhere. Probably save that for Urza, if I had to guess. And a Mishra's Bauble being used. As Dustin's going to be kind of on the back foot here without an explosive start. If Dom can get a ninja down. Oh, here we go. Engineered Explosives taking out Stonecoil and the Lotus Petal. Ornithopter comes down. Yeah, if Dom can get ahead, get some ninjas out, start drawing extra cards each turn, he'll be in very good shape. He's slowed down Dustin. Magic is a race. Lots of different ways to win it. Oh, and Containment Priest off of Cavern. That is going to be brutal. Wow. That is an interaction that Dom did not see coming. So Yuriko is tried to ninjutsu, tries to get put in via ninjutsu, and Containment Priest completely stuffs it. Now Urza comes down. Brainstorm for Dom, and that Containment Priest is an absolute blowout. Urza, despite not having any artifact support, does bring in a construct, so brings a little bit of ramp along with the smaller body. Eventually, more artifacts will also power up the Urza for additional mana and make that construct even larger if Dustin does manage to get some baubles, etc. What do we have here? A little bit of Glare for a Tundra. And a Chalice of the Void. It's going to come in at 1. Chalice is so good when it can tap for mana. And what do we have? A Stonecoil Serpent, where X equals 4. And everything turning sideways fearlessly into this Ornithopter. At least be able to bounce off of the Urza. Brazen Borrower gets rid of that token. And Containment Priest manages to push through 2 damage, so Dom not totally out of it, but in a really bad spot as Containment Priest totally ruins this whole ninjutsu thing. And back to basics showing up. That shuts off Dustin's entire land base, but Urza still capable of making some mana. There's a couple of artifacts. Stone Coil Serpent now, along with Containment Priest getting through. So back to basics. Doesn't allow that Underground Sea to... There we go. Underground Sea not going to be untapping. It is not it is one-sided in this game moving forward. In all likelihood, Dom will be able to grab just basic lands. It feels like one of those new Planeswalkers at times where it only affects your opponent, but the reality is it does actually hinder you at times. And again, Stone Coil Serpent now bounced and replayed at 3. Thanks to Urza. The pressure from Dustin's side of the board pretty relentless here, despite double Brazen Borrower going on an adventure. Petty Theft bouncing 2 creatures, 1 a token, 1 this X spell. Stone Coil Serpent needing to come down slightly smaller the second time. But Ninja's feeling outmatched here thanks to Containment Priest, as this Gyruda Bomberman deck doesn't really get to do anything overly busted, but does too much relentless pressure in the early game, and that sideboard card an absolutely devastating blow here versus Ninjas. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.